By the way, do you know how fucking great it is do you know how great it is and how fucking happy I am for you that you fucking came here in this disgusting town and you fucking are a New York kid doing this?
Still,
I mean, you pulled up in a Bentley and I fucking got real happy.
I appreciate it.
I got real fucking happy.
Thank you. Well, you know,
are we on?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Well, we're on. Yeah, we don't tell people when we're
okay.
on.
Yeah, no, that's good.
What's good about me is that I'm at the Comedy Store and I'm not in jail, you know, because it's been rough for a few years out here. Left and right, people getting taken out, headshots. I just wished I lived at a time when you didn't know smoking was bad for you. That's the time I wish I lived in because, you know, we know so much now that to do certain things now, you have to really have a death wish, which I don't have. But back, you know, I don't have that. But back then, you could just enjoy a cigarette.
I saw clips of like Jackie Gleason. You could see like when Jackie Gleason was on like train carts and they're just drinking and smoking. And there was no talking about it. It was just going to the club and having scotch and drinking cigarettes was it.
Well, there was a thing in that era where people really like fun was a big deal. Like having fun.
Right.
Like fun.
Letting loose. Right.
Letting loose.
Yeah.
Having fun. We've kind of done away with that now.
Yeah.
Where like there was the idea that you could really enjoy yourself and that part of your life should be defined by your ability to have fun.
Right.
To let loose.
Yeah. Well, if you know, I mean, I'm sure Giannis has told you, Giannis Papas, of course, but my problem and my fighting with my wife is that it's a little too much with me.
Right.
So if I did live in that time, it probably wouldn't have been long lived. You know, like I have two, I say I'm going to have 2 White Claws. I'm up all night drinking. You know,
you just have fun.
I just have fun. And then let's smoke a cigar. But Paul, it's 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be up with the kids tomorrow. I'll be fine. And then
kids
I'm a mess.
will be fine.
Yeah. And then I'm an absolute mess for 2 days.
Yeah. And then she handles the kids.
And then she handles the kids. And then she's resentful to me. Oh, by the way, then I'm going to Beverly Hills for a week.
Yeah, but she's not on Netflix. You know what I mean? Like
I'm the one with the special.
I mean, like, hey, wake up a little bit. You know? Are you funny?
That's hilarious.
All right, so your Netflix special's out. What is the title of it?
The Netflix special is called Nocturnal Admissions.
Nocturnal Admissions.
Right.
I like that.
Yes. And it's on Netflix right now. It's streaming. It's doing extremely well. So I'm very, very thankful about that.
That's awesome.
Check it out, man. It's getting great reviews and I'm really happy. I was working hard and luckily I got COVID early.
Yeah.
Because getting
You got COVID like, you were like patient 0.
Dude, I joked. I said I got COVID like I was waiting for an album to drop. Like I was online at midnight for PlayStation 5. I got COVID.
And then you just basically like coasted for the next 2 years, like unafraid.
And then
you were like immunity, who gives a fuck?
Well, yeah, and then 5 months after when the world was shut down, I was like, all right, now let's go to the states that really don't believe in COVID.
Right.
So
and that's what we did. We went on tour that whole time. I wonder, to be honest with you, in our lifetimes if there will ever be a more interesting time to do stand-up than when we did it. Like during that era.
And I think me, you, Brett Ernst, and maybe a couple of other people were out. Like
we were out.
No, like I was like, people were like, dude, are you tour? Like, is this your tour?
We were out like it wasn't happening. Yeah, we were out like it didn't exist.
Yeah, we were out. I was in Texas. I was in Arizona, Florida, all those places.
100%.
And I was doing it every week.
Yeah.
And some comics were like, obviously, I don't think they were talking about, I don't know who they're talking about.
Right.
But yeah, these comics who have like full schedules, like, that's responsible. And it's like, nobody's booking you.
Right. You're not giving up anything.
You're not. Well, like,
Callan and Schaub went out early and they got sick.
Yeah.
And then they had to post, hey, if you shook my hand in the meet and greet. And that was funny because it's like, wait, you did a fucking meet and greet? Like that was like the next level of like, wait a minute, what? So that made a lot of people start going like, what the fuck? You're doing comedy and you're doing a meet and greet. But it was like, listen, the way I looked at it was like this. Listen, I was like, I've done comedy now. I started in like 2010, like late 2010. So I was like, listen, I'm doing it a very long time.
You're 13 years in.
13 years in.
Wow.
I was like, I finally have some people that want to come see me.
Yeah.
I've been on the road a very, very long time. And I'm taking every precaution. And just knowing a little bit about viruses, you knew basically, this wasn't, there was no way this was going to be preventable.
No.
People are going to get it.
Yeah.
People are going to get it.
You know what I don't like though now, Tim?
Yeah.
Is that now they're coming out going, the truth is,
yeah.
the real truth is,
right.
if it wasn't an N95 mask, it kind of didn't.
Yeah.
Like if you had a cloth mask.
It was fake.
It was fake. And it's,
yeah. Well, remember the hand sanitizer? Remember all the things we did, wiping down packages, all that shit? And then we realized, oh, none of that worked. That's not how it spread. We don't have to fucking wipe down all of this shit. You don't have to take out fucking ethyl alcohol and spray down.
It doesn't affect food.
Yeah, Panda Express fucking to-go boxes. We didn't have to do any of that. Nobody, it was insane. But we were out there, and I remember doing stand-up the week before the election. And it was November. And it was the week before the election. And I remember we had the pandemic and the election. And I remember saying to my opener, we were sitting in the back in the green room, and I said, and then Trump, I believe, he had just got COVID.
I think you were in Nashville, and he was getting flown in a helicopter.
Yeah, and I don't know when this was. It was maybe, October?
Yeah.
It was close to the election.
Yeah.
And I said to my opener, I'm like, we could find out the president is dead in the middle of the show. I'm like, we don't know what's going on. I'm like, the president of the United States, who's in his 70s, has COVID.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's overweight, in his 70s, has COVID, and we are sitting in the back of, I don't know if it was Stand Up Live in Phoenix. I don't know where I was, but I said, we're like close to an election. I'm like, there's never been a crazier time in my memory to do stand-up comedy than this period.
No, we did it in a time where when we talk about it and you tell people, you're going to go like years and years.
Yeah.
You got on stage like during it.
Right.
Like at the height of it, actually.
Right.
I was actually in Arizona at the height of it.
Yeah, it was like every other table. They had partitions. People had masks. People are going to go, wait a minute, what? We did shows outside.
Yeah, you know how funny was it when Trump was like, I was fine.
Yeah, he was like, it was great. But he, when they put him on the plane.
I heard he actually had a rough time.
Yeah, he said when they put him on the plane, am I going to go out like Stan Scherer, who was a friend of his who died with it. So, he was like, what the fuck? And it is one of those things where, it was weird because most people were okay, but then every now and then you heard somebody that was like, they got really fucked up and you went, wait, what? Sometimes it was somebody who you wouldn't expect. But we were out there doing stand-up during that time. That was crazy.
We were, and I was getting real busy, and it started to get weird because like not many people were doing it. And then I asked myself, I said to my wife, I was like, is this okay? Like, am I a fucking, like, am I? And then I was like, I told people, listen, come, like, if you want to come out, like, be safe, like, there, and then like all the clubs had that like gun that like did something with the air, which you didn't know. Like, I didn't know what.
Nobody knew what that was. No one knew. I mean, no one knew. These comedy clubs are
trying everything.
They're the worst. They're infectious disease breeding grounds, right? It's people close together, eating, drinking, and laughing. Hopefully,
no, but we're spraying stuff.
Right? Yeah,
everyone's fine.
We got Lysol. Everything's fine.
There's 300 of you, very close, but with the spray, we're recycling the air. They said that, and I go, what is that? Like, when they said, no, we recycle the air's new. I didn't know what that...
They didn't know what it was. It was just everybody, they were just like, listen, we need money. That's the other thing.
That's what it should.
That's the other thing that people forgot. People needed money. Yeah. And people... there were benefits for people that didn't have, but there were people that were like, hey man, I got a family. Yeah. I got to feed people. You have 2 kids.
That's why I was going to say, fuck you.
Yeah. I have no kids, but I want money.
Yeah.
So I was like, listen, if you come to the show, I don't know how many people I killed with my tour. Someone died from my tour. Someone died. No, I have no way of knowing.
I found out one guy got sick at mine, that actually came back, that got that. Because I said, if you guys hear anything, just let me know. Yeah. One guy got it, and then like a week later, I didn't hear anything, so I guess he made it.
I don't even want to know how many people died from my tour. A few people died. People are gonna die. And
you better crush that night.
No, it's, you came out.
Yeah.
But you could have died from going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
And I also think that there are some people that were like, look, I know the risk. I'm not living like this.
That's right.
I'm not living like this anymore. So if God forbid something happens, I'm going to a comedy club to laugh tonight, and I'm done because I sat in the house for months, and I'm going to see this guy who I like. I'm sure a lot of people did that.
A lot,
and they were probably very Republican.
And they were good audiences. And to me, I love to me, comedy is a live sport. It's meant to be seen live. Like it's great when it's recorded. It's great, but to me, being in the room is the thing.
It's 100% true.
To me, there were no substitutions. These live stream shows that people were doing, the shows on Zoom, all of these. Whatever, technological innovation that allowed people to perform, I just was like, in stand-up's got to be live.
Yeah.
Podcasting can be what it is, but stand-up's got to be live. So I didn't feel like there was any substitution. So I'm like, I'm either going to not do it for 2 years or I got to go out.
Yeah. No, I felt the same way. And I also was like, being out there, I was able to work the special more.
Yes.
And in my mind, I'm going, wow, like if I can kind of duplicate what's going on here, the night of the special. But yeah, being there live and having your fans see you in your element at your best running something and they're there, it's just better than clips.
Right.
Clips are great.
Established Titles is a project based on historic Scottish customs where landowners are referred to as lairds, or lords, or ladies in English. They allow people to buy as little as 1 square foot of dedicated land so that they can call themselves a lord or a lady. They are committed to planting a tree with every order. It is a fun, novel way to help preserve the picturesque woodlands and biodiversity of Scotland while supporting global afforestation efforts. We have really, it's interesting. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland on an official certificate with a crest. Your certificate features a unique plot number, which you can see the exact location of your land. We plant a tree with every order and work with global charities, One Tree Planted, and trees to support global reforestation efforts. It's a great last minute gift. You can officially change your name to Lord or Lady and get it on your credit card, plane tickets, etc. You can even get it on your dating profiles. That is baller. That's pretty baller. You get a little square foot of land in Scotland and you could call yourself Lord Avery. Wow. Established Titles told me that the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot within a few minutes of walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or a lady, we can build our little Tim Dillon Show kingdom. I don't understand why you wouldn't do this. It makes an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually running a massive Labor Day sale right now. Plus, if you use the code Tim Dillon, you get an additional 10% off. This sounds really fun.
Yeah,
right?
They sent us our certificate. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool to be a lord. I'm Lord Dillon, and you're Lady Avery. You're a lady. It's really interesting that this actually also helps the environment.
Yeah.
That's what's fun to me. You get a cool name. It helps the environment. There's nowhere to go wrong here. It's just kind of fun to put it on the credit card, Lord, whatever.
Yeah, and it's so hard to become a boss or get other titles.
You're never going to have another title. Just take this title. You can buy it. The best things are things you can buy. The best accomplishments are things you can buy, and they plant a tree. Mm-hmm. Go to establishedtitles.com/Tim Dillon to get your gifts now and help support the channel. Establishedtitles.com/Tim Dillon to get your gifts now and help support the channel. 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're 35. More than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. Keeps offers both. Keeps offers a simple, affordable, and stress-free way to keep your hair via convenient virtual doctor consultations and medications delivered straight to your door every 3 months. You don't have to leave your home. 24/7 care and support. Keeps is a network of expert medical advisors, prescribers, and care specialists to support you in making your hair goal a reality. It's low cost. Treatments start at just $10 a month, and Keeps offers generic versions of the 2 FDA-approved medications to prevent hair loss. You have a really good friend who's using this, and it's great.
Yeah, it actually really worked well.
Keeps says everything your hair needs, delivered straight to your door in discreet packaging and proven results. Remember, when prevention is key, treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results. So act fast. This is the real way to do it. You keep the hair you have. You don't use a wig. You don't do anything crazy. You don't need surgery. I'm telling you, if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to KEEPS.com/Tim Dillon to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's KEEPS.com/Tim Dillon to get your first month free. KEEPS.com/Tim Dillon. Now, as somebody who didn't grow up with the internet, now seeing what it is, your kids are growing up with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you shield them from the crazier parts of it with the
it's tough
everything from bullying to, you know, God forbid you come home one day and you see your daughter or son and they're watching a Whitney Cummings on the internet. What do you do? You know, like how do you handle, as a father, how do you handle all this?
No, it's actually true. Well, not the Whitney thing true, but no, like my daughter's watching, you know, she said to me the other day, she said, Dad, can I get TikTok? And I go, absolutely not. And she's like, but I'll just, and this is what let me know that it's fucking horrible.
Right.
And she goes, no, I'll just go to the things that I want to see. No, dude, they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
They're doing gross shit. There's a lot of sexual shit up there. My daughter's 10, man.
Yeah,
you know,
there's problems.
And the kids are locked in the phones big, man.
It's big.
My son is he does watch a lot of basketball stuff and YouTube stuff, but my son has got his head down a lot.
Right.
To the point where I'm like, buddy, I'm fucking talking to you. Like my dad, that didn't happen with us.
No.
You know, we stared at the window and we realized.
No, there was nothing to stare at other than your life.
You had to kind of live in what was.
Yeah,
they're happier than we were.
Oh, the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're happier.
Yeah.
They seem happier.
My kids are happy. They're just distracted, but I don't want them. I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it.
So you're going to, now, do you think you get worn down eventually? Do you think it breaks down like when they get into the teen years, because all of their friends are going to be doing this? So at what point do you, I don't know, do you give in or how does it work?
Well, here's the thing, you know, I think the Italian in me, I kind of bribe.
Right.
Cash is king in the house.
Right.
So I told my daughter was on the couch. You'll love this.
Yeah.
My daughter's on the couch with Stacy and she goes, I want an iPhone. And you know, Stacy goes, well, Lucas got an iPhone after 5th grade. You got to wait till after 5th grade.
Right.
She goes, but I'm different than Lucas. I want an iPhone. So her soccer team didn't win a game all year.
Yeah.
And they scored 1 goal all season. It was terrible. Right. They never won. We would travel to Yonkers. We would travel to Dobbs Ferry.
And just to be embarrassed.
To 7 o'clock in the morning, there's dew all over the thing.
Right.
I'm exhausted. I'm yelling at my wife why I had to get up so early. I got coffee in my hand. And they'd get blown out. We'd get back in the car.
It's shameful.
Yeah, right. And we'd get in the car and we wouldn't talk about the game. We'd go get lunch.
Right.
So they score 1 goal all year. It's the last game. They haven't won a game. So I just, out of nowhere, I go, Sophia, you score a goal tomorrow morning. You score a goal in the game tomorrow morning, I'll get you an iPhone 11, whatever it was. First half, she's dragging ass. All the kids are.
Right.
Yeah, it's over. They're losing.
You're like, nothing. The money stays in my pocket.
Money stays in my pocket. Now parents start hearing about it. There's rumblings.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, Virzi told Sophia, and you know, we're losing. Dude, second half starts. She starts running. The ball ricochets. It's in front of her. It's just her and the goalie. She lofts it up over the goalie's head. Wow. It goes in. All the parents start going nuts, everyone. Sophia's running down in the middle of the game, Tim. Middle of the game. She goes, Dad, iPhone 11. And everybody fucking went nuts.
That's
but
great.
You know, I'll tell my kid, listen, and some people don't like the parent. I tell my kid, you scored 20 tonight, you're going to get cash.
Right.
You know, I said, you get on a roll, you're getting 300 cash, and we're going to go get you the sneakers you want.
No, it's smart. Do you ever, when the team's not doing good, you ever grab the coach and go like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, do you ever grab the coach and go like,
listen,
we're
I've
getting
been
up
here
early,
7 weeks in a row, and nothing's changed?
Yeah.
Like, are we?
Do you have a plan? Do we have any plan as to how to get out of this? Like, you know, like.
They had a game in Queens by Randall's Island, a team that never loses.
Yeah.
And we actually had the decency to just cancel it.
Yeah.
We did. The parents had a meeting and they go, we're not driving. We're not all driving down to Queens to do that. So like let's forfeit now so we could go out and drink tonight. And the parents did. They canceled it.
There were 2 types of parents, sports parents, when I was coming up. There was the parents who didn't care, where they were just like, this is a babysitter. These 3 hours a week that you're gone are 3 hours I don't have to see you.
Yeah.
And then there were parents who would physically attack the coach and referee if they didn't like the calls.
Yeah.
Like it was those 2 extremes and very few in the middle. It was either like, hey, have fun, we don't really care.
Yeah.
The other extreme was, there are literally, if you Google this, Ben.
Yeah.
There was, and these were like connected guys in Long Island. Everybody thinks they're connected. It's,
Yeah.
They went down. 2 guys attacked a baseball coach, Long Island. They went onto the field. They literally were like, what the fuck's going on? And they, right there.
Right here in 2007.
Brothers busted for a beatdown of Long Island baseball coach. And it was like I remember this in 2007. And basically it was like an 11-year-old baseball player upset over being benched for cursing in batting practice, called his father, who drove to the Belmore ball field, rushed the mound with his brother, pummeled the coach, sending him to the hospital, police said Wednesday. The brothers, Frank Basile and Roger Basile, who own a restaurant I love called Hudson and McCoy, or used to, were arrested and charged. I think they do. It was I used to enjoy it. They were arrested and charged Tuesday. This was years and years ago. With whatever,
dude, how funny is that when they're in the holding cell?
Yeah.
What'd you get? I was doing dope. No. I beat the fuck out of a Little League coach.
Yeah, we fucked up my kid's coach. And because their sons, they benched him for being like, fuck you, motherfucker. They're like, you have to be on the bench.
No, there was another one where the parents go, come on. And the guy goes, if you do one more thing, and he just left. He left. He took the mask off and the ump just left. We don't,
Right.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
It happens a lot in Long Island. And
I don't even yell.
In Long Island, it happens 100%. All that, like what people do for children's sports is insane.
Yeah. And it's and all it is a projection of what's going on with them, which is even crazy.
Because they regret, maybe they're trying to relive their glory days, or they regret, their parents didn't push them more.
Yeah.
And they're like, maybe if I push the kids, we can get them.
There was a guy, I think in our district or the town over, he 8-year-olds. He kicked a soccer ball, said, go get it, assholes, and freaked out. He was he was banned from the field. He wasn't allowed. He wasn't allowed on the property anymore. He wasn't allowed to be seen. He wasn't allowed to be seen on the property. Like they were just like, this guy can't even not only are you not doing this anymore, like you can't be seen. People can't see you anymore.
And what was he doing? He was just telling 8-year-olds?
He was, I guess he was just telling 8-year-olds something and they weren't listening. And I guess he just had a breaking point of losing.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you could take.
Do you coach?
No.
You don't coach.
But like one time I ran like intramurals where they broke up our whole team and and I did. And the kids I know I could tell a kid that is just going through it or takes it real seriously, where I'll be like, dude, just go, I was able to read, these guys want to win for them.
Right.
Not the kid.
Right.
So this guy my guess is he probably lost 13 weeks in a row. His wife is saying something.
Right.
I've seen wives actually go up to the husband while they're coaching and be like, can you do something? Can you do something?
Yeah, interesting.
Because they're at breakfast and he's yelling and she's like, why don't you win a fucking game? You don't think he's taking that in the car?
It gets competitive.
He's getting in the car thinking like this. So this kid kicked the ball, I think. I heard he kicked a soccer ball. I don't know who the fuck it was. He kicked a soccer ball far and started saying, you get it, you asshole. And people were like, yeah, he's just never coming back,
Jesus.
So, and but then that guy shows up to the auditorium for the school play.
Yeah. Everybody's like,
hey, there he is. Yeah.
And you have a tight-knit community of people who know each other.
So there's surrounding towns, but the people in ours, it's real small.
Yeah.
The schools might as well be private.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
and that's what I want. I want to be away from people, and I just want to be.
Why?
I want to be in a rich country town with horses.
Why?
Have you been to New York City?
Yeah.
Have you dude? New York City is fucked, and I hate saying that. That's your home city. That's my city.
That's right.
That's where I got my chops with stand up. That's where you got your chops with stand up.
That's right. That's also where I got my chops, mutton chop at Keen's. Many chops, veal chops, lots of chops.
And to see what it is now, dude, to go down there, like I was telling you earlier, taking my son to a game and seeing the amount of homeless and the hustlers and stuff down there. My kids are scared. And then I'm thinking, what's somebody's breaking point?
Yeah.
Right? You get I saw it happen in Austin, Texas. I saw it happen. I saw a guy somebody told him no, he tried jumping in front of a car. So now Now,
wait a minute. This is crazy to me because this is the most beautiful city in the world, Austin, Texas. You saw somebody.
I just saw some guy have a breaking point and start yelling and screaming and freaking out because, so that's when the crime happens.
Just a homeless guy.
And I think that's what happens on the trains and the subways in New York City. In the subways in New York City, somebody's there. That whole day, they were shut down. They were said, fuck you. Who knows what happened? They're sitting there, and then they see a guy, laughing with their kids in Yankee jerseys.
Right.
And he goes, they're getting into a Jaguar tonight going back up to Westchester.
Yeah.
And somebody gets, you know what I mean? People have breaking points. I don't want to be there with my family when that happens.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense.
And Westchester's incredible. It's good schools and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't sound like a snooty fuck. I'm just saying, like,
no.
you know, I worked in a certain place where, you know, to a level where I want my kids to have a nice.
You want your family to be safe. There's nothing snooty about that.
It's about safety, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's about my kids being safe and my kids feeling safe.
I have specified, now this sounds snooty, I don't want to live near people who fly on public airways.
Yeah.
Anyone that flies public, I want to live.
If you fly commercial.
I really don't want to live, near anyone that flies like a commercial air. Yeah, not public, commercial, but I consider it public. It's like a public
It might
bus.
as well be a.
I want to live near people. It's the level of, here's how rich the areas are that I want to live in. No one's even home.
Yeah.
You know how rich that is? Where it's no one's really even home.
Ever home. It's
never home.
Because it's actually their vacation home.
It's not a community.
Yeah.
It's just it's money laundering and with security that's like the Mossad. Like the security is like Saudi Secret Service, crazy rich, just things that are blinking. And
it's white collar crime while they summer in Paris.
That's right.
That's
the areas. And I've always liked that since I'm a kid. Since I'm a kid, I've always liked those areas. It's not because I have money now.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid, I always liked those areas where people were so rich. It was confusing.
Well, you know what's funny, and me and you have this in common because we've talked about it for a long time.
Yeah.
It's like, and all my friends in comedy make fun of me, but like you like a good restaurant.
Yes.
See, I like tops.
Yes.
Like I want to fly private one day. That's my goal. I want to fly private one day.
I don't fly private, but I like to be around those who do. It's a waste of money.
You're close though.
It's a waste of money.
But you know what? I heard
it's necessary, I think.
Yeah. I heard Ron White said that. Somebody goes, "Yeah, why do you do that? Why do you waste time?" He goes, "Man, it's so good."
Yeah, it is good.
You know, it's nice to just have your own.
But it's nice to, to be in and I think we shouldn't pretend that that's not desirable.
Well, see, what I do is I fly first and can't afford it always.
Yeah.
But I still do it.
I fly first. That will be the last luxury I give up if everything collapses on me. I will sell the Bentley. I don't care. I will never go back to coach. I won't fly.
Yeah.
I just will drive to gigs. Like I don't like.
You're never going in the back of the plane
once
again.
you get to first, it's I can't go to the back.
It's almost insulting. It's almost insulting how it's different.
Yeah.
How different. I was going to do a bit on it. And then I said somebody had to do this bit. And then 7 minutes and 40 something seconds or 7 minutes and 20. Brian Regan, who's fucking, I think he's just
on the Mount Rushmore,
one of the greatest of all time. And you know, he's a friend, dude. He's the nicest guy. This guy did from getting to your gate to getting on the plane to first class versus coach. It's you're crying, laughing, but after you sit in coach, like I sometimes if I can't afford it, because they'll be like, hey, you know, it's an extra $1,000. Then I'll be like, all right, I'll go to business. Yeah. Stacey will kill me.
Right. No,
because when I go to cities, I buy sneakers.
Right.
Like,
right.
You know,
no,
so
you're a problem with spending sometimes. You like to treat yourself well.
Oh, Bill Burr.
You like a hat, new hat every now and then.
Bill Burr and Pete Davidson go, all we want Virzi is to get rich because see what he does.
Yeah.
I told my wife I want a horse.
No,
I want a horse.
You will dress like these hype beasts out here. You'll have like a $2,000 hoodie.
No, Tim, you're going to come to my house and see me sitting on a white horse.
Yeah.
I really want, like I want you to feed it by hand.
It's the way when Italians succeed, this is what they do.
Like an exotic animal.
Yes,
I get that. White things, and I want white.
A sherfle, some weird cat.
Dude, it's funny you said that. I was actually asking Stacey if she wanted to get a lynx.
No.
I want white marble everywhere.
Yeah.
I want white marble everywhere.
Fish tank.
Little
fish tank.
Giannis redid his basement.
Yeah.
And when you sit on Giannis's couch downstairs to the left, you can see, and it's all white marble. And I stare at it like a fly to a light. I can't get my eyes off of it. Like when I see white marble and stone, that's another thing we love. Stone.
Yeah, I love stone.
White stone for me.
It's amazing.
Anything white. Like when you pulled up in your car and I saw like the bee on the white car. I couldn't believe it.
Yes.
It was a pleasure to just get in something white.
Right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So
this will be clipped and it will be used on neo-Nazi websites.
Yeah, by the way, we're saying white leather and white
leather,
stone.
marble.
Stone, yeah. Yeah. Like I realize when I go everything white, and then you're laughing.
We don't mean,
somebody could literally.
Yeah, that's just gonna be.
I'm talking about the materials, but
yes.
I really love being sitting in a situation like I had to fly business. I flew first when I went to Grand Rapids, but then on the way out here I was in business. And, I hit the guy's elbow a little bit, and I was like, I just can't do this anymore.
Right.
Stacy sees the card though.
Yeah.
We got into a thing, and I go, look, I'm not making a ton of money, but I said I'm making a little money.
And she says, listen, you got to rein it in.
And she goes, listen, Paul, so we got, got the LLC.
Right.
She goes, I got it. She goes, she actually said to me, she goes, can we have a talk tonight?
Yeah.
She goes, we really need to talk. And she goes, can I just be in charge of the money? And I go, look, I'm making the money. Like, let's talk about it. And she goes, Paul, you please for me. She goes, this might be a big problem for us. She goes, she's like, because my wife saw like the foresight was this could be divorce.
Right.
So like this could be, because you're going to go out and you're going to buy 3 pairs of Jordans.
Right.
And you're going to buy first class.
Right.
And it's great, but like we have children that need to get educated.
Yeah.
So you got to watch that and you got to be careful. So she looks at it. So like, today, for example, I pulled it, I went to the mall. I got some press coming up. I got some TV coming up this week out here. So, you got
to treat yourself.
I bought a new pair of Jordans, but then I walked past another sneaker store. I bought another pair.
Really?
But here's the thing. I got to send them home. I can't pack them. I don't have enough. So I'm buying sneakers and I've got to ship them home.
So you have 2 pairs of Jordans on this trip that you're shipping home?
No, I have 5 pairs of sneakers on this trip. Listen to this. It's actually crazy. Like I'm here for 4 days.
It's crazy.
So I have them, and my, you're gonna really laugh, my luggage has a section for the actual sneaker boxes.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, so I got the sneakers, but then I'm going through and I see Jordans, so I get them. Then I saw another pair, but Stacy was watching. Another pair would have been another 500 after I already spent like 6 on 2 pairs. So she'll just go, so what did you do? She knows. She'll question me. How was your day? How was press?
So do you do cash so she doesn't know?
Sometimes I'll throw a little cash or she'll go, what did you, how was the trip? Her way to start is, how was the trip? How was your flight?
Right.
How was your flight was like, what did you spend?
Right.
Another thing that changed my life was the Delta Sky Club. Changed my life. Yeah. You go to Delta Sky Club?
I've never been there. Here's the thing. I got to be honest with you. You Americans, we had the British Airways lounge in London, and like,
how was that?
We went to the Qantas lounge in Australia. Here's the reality. American lounges just they don't compete.
No, you know what? The food, I was a little disappointed in the food at Delta. They had like one little hot thing of chicken that was decent.
No, dude, the Qantas lounge, that business lounge.
It's great. It's the best.
It was so good. And then the Virgin lounge too. And
some of the best coffee I've ever had.
Oh, dude, the coffee, the hot, cold dishes. They make grilled cheeses for you. Like paninis and stuff. They make grilled cheeses. They call them a toasties, soup. Yeah. Nice rainy day with the soup. I mean, so I respect the Delta Sky Club.
No, the Sky Club was something where we fly enough where it's worth it, a 1,000 times worth it.
Yeah.
But I agree. I heard some of the Delta ones in the country are like exceptional.
Yeah.
But the ones that I've been to a couple, and I could have, to be honest, it could have been a little better food-wise.
Yes.
It is nice to sit. Listen, it's nice to have unlimited drinks.
It's great. I mean, that's the other thing about first class is you get a meal and the meal's good.
Yeah.
And the meal in the back, is atrocious. And like, that's the other thing. When you are in coach, you are sitting next to people who are diseased. Openly, because it takes nothing to be in coach. And I've been in coach, and I've been that person who's diseased. Like, I've gotten on coach, blowing my nose, like on the way to Hilarities in Cleveland for a weekend, blowing my nose, like my clothes are in like a ratty backpack.
Your immune system's worse.
I'm making $1,200 for 17 shows in Cleveland. Like, it's a nightmare. I bring food that I'm eating. Like, I've been that person, and so I know who that person is, and I don't want to be anywhere near them.
You don't want to. Do you ever look at the people on the line for food when you go to the Sky Lounge and just start laughing out loud?
Yeah, you know what it is? I try to sometimes when they walk on the plane to go back to coach, I say a prayer. I go into silent prayer for them, and I go.
That's why I ask.
God bless. I hope
Oh yeah, no, it's. But you know what feels bad? What feels bad is if you do first a lot.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, they were just like, Paul, it bumped 1,000. Do you still want to do it? And
That's tough.
I was like, with what I was spending, I said no. But then when you fly first a lot, but then you walk past it because you're not in it anymore.
No.
There's like a feeling of like.
I did it one time. He sits. Where do you sit every time?
In coach.
You sit every time in coach, and every time you pass me, right?
That's right. I always pass you.
And what do? I always give you the.
You point. You literally point back with the
I
stuff.
point back.
What, you purposely, like you just want to, that's like your wife, or like that's just.
Well, no, we're not spending. The business pays for his travel when he comes to New York and stuff. We're
So
not paying.
You guys don't sport him at first?
Are you mentally ill? This is good. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Look at the bed. Turn around. Look at the show. Well, whose name's on the show right there? Is this a group show? Does that say Saturday Night Live with 65 people in it? Is this an ensemble cast? He has a very nice life. I mean,
He has a very nice life.
Yeah, does very well. Do you rarely pay for a dinner?
That's true. You're very good to me.
He's been to the greatest restaurants in the world.
Yes.
In the world. In London, Nobu in Malibu. He goes in New York. We take him to Don Angie
You treat eating like, that's what I noticed about you, and
Yeah.
that's what I respect. You treat eating and foods and restaurants and seafood, you do that the way I would say that, like I would do either certain sneakers or, I mean, listen, I love a good meal like that, but you need you need meal-wise, you want the best, right?
Well, because I used to do drugs, and I miss drugs, and I really like drugs.
So it's an addictive personality.
It's an addictive thing to just say, I want this thing that's hard to get in, and I don't know that we'll be able to get it. And it just reminds me of drugs because drugs was like, oh, can we get the 8 ball tonight? I want the good 8 ball. We want the pink rock, the one that's kind of, how do we get that? Well, we got to call him. We got to drive to fucking Bayside, whatever. And this, like, to me, I like to try to get into the best place because it's a challenge.
So
and whatever.
So it's like you'd want a seafood tower that like Prince loved.
Yeah.
That was delicious and great. And that's your 8 ball back in the day.
I want the last thing Michael Jackson ate. I want the last sushi piece of nigiri he had before he went into a propofol coma. Because what's life about? Who cares? Why,
I'll be honest with you. I was on that shit, and that's the greatest. There's nothing
better than propofol.
When you come out of it, there's no mood better.
Right. And if anyone listening right now, if you can get your hands on propofol,
no.
that's who's sponsoring our show, propofol.
But he did that like to sleep and shit, which is wild.
He had problems. Where do you stand on the Michael Jackson thing? I've never researched it, but I know it's a hot button, but we stumbled into it.
I can't watch it. I can't listen to his music. I just can't listen to his music now, knowing like somebody told me, somebody that I like and trust.
Right.
I go, what was the real? And that's the other thing. I was talking about that on another podcast today. When I watch true crime, when little kids are involved in killing, I can't watch. When I anything with kids, I can't.
I hate true crime. You know why? Because women have made so much money on it.
Well, women love it.
I mean, these people that make so much money on it.
But when kids are involved.
It's immoral. It's my favorite murder, all these podcasts. And it's immoral. They're exploiting the deaths of people for money. They're sick, these women, are they not?
When it comes to children, I can't fuck with it. I think just having kids and hearing it. But people that I know, love, trust were like, dude, I saw that documentary, and it's just like, it's a wrap.
What's the bad one? Because there's a few docs, but there's one that's like not good.
No, the one that the most recent one, Something Neverland or
Finding that's a movie. Is Finding Neverland a movie?
I don't think so.
No, I think it's that one.
Did they make another one already?
And dude, it's like some of the things that you
Leaving Neverland.
Yeah, that's
Finding Neverland is a movie. Finding Neverland.
We're just confused.
Leaving Neverland, and so now this is like kind of indisputable.
It's some of the things that were said by multiple people kind of matching stories and certain things like that. And what's worse is the parent, from what I've heard, again, I haven't seen it, so I don't want to talk too much up, but like the parents were like, he would be like, hey, can I have your kid for half a year?
Well,
and like,
who are these parents?
Yeah,
that's the other thing, right? That's odd.
I think money's involved. I think it's like.
I mean, how sick? I mean, that's crazy.
You know,
listen, I love money. You know what I mean? I wouldn't sell him, and I barely know him. I wouldn't give him to Michael Jackson for half a year. He'd love it because he wouldn't have to work and he could go on the rides.
And I didn't. I didn't see it. So I don't know exactly like what, but I know that he would like ask for a lot of time with these kids, and like some parents would oblige. And dude, that's like, you know, that's fucked up. And
it's insanely fucked up.
I can't like get into a Michael Jackson. So I mean, the guy, as far as an artist, he's incredible. Yeah. And like now I'm listening, and like you can't listen to that and not think of that.
I know. Yeah.
You know, like
now, and Woody Allen kind of similar, but Woody Allen's got some of the funniest New York movies ever. And, you know, but that documentary, now I can still watch a Woody Allen movie and say that's really funny, but I got to be honest, it is, you know, that documentary is kind of damning.
Dude, if you're obsessing over a 10-year-old and you're like a grown man, it's just, it's hard to get into
it's a problem.
It doesn't matter. Or like, you know, Cosby, it's like, oh, he was a great comedian. He told a great story. Okay. He also drugged and, you know, did shit to women for 30 fucking. It's like, it's like, so for me, you know, I can't listen to what that's where. So where I stand on it is like, I don't know everything, but I can't listen. I can't get into it, dude.
Yeah. And that's an interesting conversation about like the behavior of somebody versus their material, like what they put out, you know, because it can ruin it. Now you can separate the art from the artist, but it also can be a thing where like if somebody does something heinous, it's very hard to go, oh, but I can still rock out to this song.
I can't. It's just
it's hard. Yeah. And you're a father and the whole thing, it's tough.
What do you think DJs do?
They play it.
Yeah, they play it. They play it?
Oh, they play it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know any DJs because I'm successful.
Yeah. I don't know a DJ.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, the big DJs, I'm not successful enough to be friends with them. And then the little DJs.
That's actually interesting. There's levels of DJ.
Yeah. No. It is. I can't. I can't hang out with DJ Khaled,
right?
Because I'm not that level. I would love to,
right?
He's gonna hang out with Andrew Schultz first, and then on his decline, I may get Khaled. But little DJ,
but a guy DJing a wedding,
I don't know them.
Yeah,
because I hate a lot of my friends growing up with DJs. It's just ugh.
A lot of Long Island DJs?
Yeah, it's a lot of Long Island DJs that are just gross. You ever talk to a DJ? It's disgusting. Like the things they have to talk about. I mean, it's just,
I talked to a DJ once at a show and he goes, listen, dude, anytime you want a mixtape, dude, I do all this stuff from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I mean,
and I was just like, yeah, dude, I'm good, dude. I'm like, nice to meet you, though. Like, all the best, but like.
No, immediately after you hear that, I go, I'm done with your profession. Like, I don't want to hear anything anymore about anybody that you do. But I think DJs just play it and go, I don't know, maybe they don't. It really depends.
It depends. Yeah, I mean, it also depends, like, if it's at like a bar mitzvah for a 16-year-old, you shouldn't, you know, there should be things off the list.
Right. I agree. I agree with you there.
You know?
The wait is almost over. A new football season is about to begin. Get ready for the NFL Week 1 auction with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. To celebrate the return of football, DraftKings is giving new customers a can't-miss offer. Bet just $5 on any football game and get $200 in free bets instantly. Want more action for opening night? Everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. Get up to 7, you win. Bet on any NFL team of your choice, and if your team leads by 7 points at any point during the game, you get paid instantly. That's crazy. Even if your team loses, if they're just up by 7, you get paid. How cool is that? Yeah. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. That's the key, right?
That's the key.
That's the key, because a lot of these things, they don't do that.
They don't. DraftKings does, though.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Tim Dillon to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code Tim Dillon only at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's a great way to support our show and have some fun. And as an official sports betting partner of the NFL, minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER.
Oh, and you know I love betting on sports. I love watching sports. I've been using this. DraftKings is great.
Everybody loves MeUndies. It's the best underwear on the market. It's buttery soft and sustainable undies, bralettes, and socks that really make your booty and your whole body feel happy with items designed to make your life more comfortable. Let your skin sing a song of joy with MeUndies. Socks, bralettes, as they feel like they're spun from silken clouds, guaranteed to be the softest stuff you've ever felt in your life. Their signature micromodal fabric is sustainable, breathable, and stretchy as heck. Available in sizes extra small to 4XL. They have new colors and prints dropping weekly, so there's always something exciting to check out. Try their free-to-join membership for free shipping on every order, which has exclusive perks like an item shipped to your door. Try their free-to-join membership for free shipping on every order and exclusive perks like an item shipped to your door every month, secret sales, and early access to their newest stuff. MeUndies has a great offer for my listeners. For any first-time purchasers, you get 20% off plus free shipping and returns. 20% off plus free shipping and returns. To get 20% off your first order and free shipping and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/Tim. That's MeUndies.com/Tim.
I'm wearing them right now.
Great. How do you think about the comedy now? People, do you think that people are kind of, times are getting real now. The economy's tough. We've had issues, Russia, China, all these things. Do you think the kind of virtue signaling, for lack of a better word, like woke stuff, people are just getting a little bored and they go, we just want to go back to laughing at real shit?
I think that the woke thing is starting to. I got a Netflix
kind of done.
I got a Netflix special. But no, and you know what? And shout out to Netflix because they saw it, and I didn't know. Yeah. And after they saw it, they were like, hey, you know what?
No, they're putting mine on. We've said some stuff,
and this belongs here because it's funny and all the other stuff. That's a big sign. And you're talking about the biggest streaming, platform, the best stream platform that so many people have, saying, you know what? And another thing I loved, Tim, was the way they defended Chappelle and Ricky Gervais. Like to come out and go, look, guys, these are jokes, and if you're gonna pick it and fight, like then you could get another joke. Like them saying that is a huge win.
Not only, I don't even know if you knew this, there was a trans woman working for Netflix who was very upset about these specials, and like a bunch of the other employees just threw her out the window, like in downtown Hollywood. She was like on Twitter trying to get stuff going. They threw her right out the window. They opened the door because Netflix, Ted Sarandos came in. You ever see that scene in Casino where he goes, open the door with her head. Open the door with her head.
And I want him out of here by his fucking head.
Yeah, they opened the door with her head and then they threw her out of the window. And then sometimes when you work in an environment, you have to do those things. Now, so let me ask you now, you are on the road all the time. People can see you. I was like in the middle of the episode, let people know where they can find your live dates because you're one of the best live performers out there to go see you.
I really appreciate that.
And it's we're working with PaulVirzi.com. It's the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah,
PaulVirzi.com. And just go to his website and let people know. So you're going to London in October.
I'm doing my first ever London.
How fucking awesome is that?
So the New York Giants, who I'm a fan of, are playing the Packers in London. NFL does the London game every year. The Giants are playing there. Talk to my agent and I go, hey, I got some fans in the UK saying, how come you haven't been out here? Let's do something. So I'm taking my family. Yeah. And then we're going to go to Paris or Italy afterwards.
That's amazing.
So we're going to, so I'm going to go out, do a show out there in London. And I'm looking forward to it, man. Go to the Giants game. And I've never been.
We loved it. Didn't you love it?
Oh, I loved it. It's the best.
Really?
We loved it. We loved it, man. I went to Ireland, Scotland, Ireland, and London. Dublin was amazing. London was so amazing that, and all of those places, but London, there's a special spot in my heart for London.
I love doing, you actually said this a long time ago, like go to like places and do one-offs. Like I remember at the pandemic, we were doing like one-offs, but I'm doing October 19th, I'm doing the DC Improv.
Well,
then the 20th, I'm doing the Philly Punchline.
I want to do smaller, like we did that theater tour, it was amazing, but like to create new stuff and to experiment, I want to do smaller places. Like I've been doing these improvs and they're big improvs and they're great and we have a lot of fun with them. Yeah. But to really try new stuff and experiment, you got to go to smaller places.
Dude, I was just at this place called The Listening Room in Grand Rapids. Yeah. It's like 200. You look like you could, it was the greatest. The stage is big enough where you could do your thing, but they're right there. They're great. Like I love rooms like that, man.
That is where we all came up in those rooms. Those are the rooms I think. because, the next hour I do a lot of topical stuff in this hour because it all came from this podcast and it came from this crazy time that we lived through.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was, also married into my family stuff and everything. But the next hour I want to stay away from topical. And I want to go.
Just do stand-up jokes or like.
I just want to do I want to take this book I'm writing called The Boomer Guide to Parenting about my parents and how I grew up. And I want to take people on a journey how 90s kids grew up and the insanity and the horrible food we ate and the craziness and like how hilarious and detached our parents were and aloof they were. That's my goal for the next hour.
Wow. That's dope, man.
But I got to do that, I think, outside of traditional comedy clubs.
I think,
or maybe really good comedy clubs.
And if I'm being honest, I think somebody like you, I think seeing somebody like you do that and really bring that into something is a whole other thing.
Because I want to get super personal in that world and as I'm trying to write this book now, I'm realizing I'm like, there's so much funny stuff there that I want to do and have it be completely different from this show. Because this show was our late night show. It's like our topical.
Sure.
Every week we do, for the most part, topical jokes and we love it.
Sure.
It's what I grew up watching, Letterman or whatever. But then with the stand-up, I want to move into that arena where it's kind of like, I want to go back to some more of that when I first started, where I was like mining the depths of my experience for funny shit.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think
I can.
No, of course you can.
See.
And like it's
I'll be back talking about Hunter Biden's dick for money.
Right after. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed the book. Trump is back. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the book. Yeah. Hunter Biden's on crack. But yeah, I mean, because I feel like with stand-up, it's like one of the hardest things about it is like, these masters, right? You watch Bill Burr, you watch these people that have been at it forever and they're amazing and they're the top gold, standard Mount Rushmore. And you go, they just had to keep getting better and sharper and it's not easy.
But everybody that you just mentioned took the road of sticking with it, going the long way, and just like really going out there, honing it, being able to, it's like you said, you see somebody live, and it's like going on these tour dates and all these things I'm doing, like crowd work, and then finding out how to do a bit. But your thing is like, you're so good at what you do and your mind is so good at this that if you shift that to your personal shit, that's coming too. Like it's because that's who you are. But what you do is you're focusing it on, Hunter Biden's got a crack pipe out his dick's out.
Right.
So you do this show, you're going to talk about that.
Yes.
But if you go to the other thing, that's going to, and it's funny that you said about the growing up in the 90s, because I grew up in the 90s, like hip hop era, and dude, I remember like coming up in the early 2000s, if I wrote a book, I'm trying to think of things I would do. I door knocked in Queens at dinner time for phone, cable, and internet.
Right.
It's me knocking on your door, going, hey guys, I'm in the, I smell the food.
I'm in the area.
I smell the food. And I'm going, hey, cable, what's your cable? Can I see your cable bill? And it was like, I almost got killed. But then there were times where I got sales, but you start thinking of things like that you did, and you're going like, it was wild in New York in that time, growing up, man.
For sure. Well, that's kind of what I want to do, and it's not easy to do. That being said, that's the next iteration of it. When you look at the next hour or the next thing you're looking to do, how do you plan it out? Do you go, I'm just going to go out there raw? Do you go, I'm going to have a thought? Do you go, how does it work?
I've learned now after the third hour, because I did my album, and then I did the Comedy Central special, and now this one. And a lot of the amazing write-ups, which I'm really humbled by, were like, he's really really found, like, I'll go just on stage now and just talk about, if I think it, I'm just going to go out there and talk about it and build it.
Right.
Like, for example, I was in Grand Rapids, and like, all these pilots are young now. Young, dude.
Right.
And I don't like that.
No.
I don't like that shit. I actually look at my pilot who's flying. It's a big deal to me because I got over a phobia of flying. And, this kid, Tim, this kid looked like he was intense. I'm not joking around. I couldn't believe the kid was actually going to get in an aircraft and fly this many people because he looked like he was in 10th grade. He had a baby face. His fucking shirt was wrinkled. And so I just go on stage and listen, if it doesn't But I feel like the way that I can construct a joke or say things like that, I'll go and talk about that and start to get beats with that.
Yeah.
And maybe punchlines with that. And if, I'm trusting myself now.
Yeah.
And really big on able to recognize when something in life happens.
Yeah.
When you're coming up, you don't recognize it.
Yeah.
Like in Nocturnal Emissions, the last joke, my closer is me and my son playing basketball, and he challenges me and he curses at me and he gets in my face, and everybody loves the joke.
Yeah.
But I knew in that moment when that happened, I was like, wow, if I can incorporate this, I can see it now better.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
As life is coming at you and you live, you could see it.
Yeah, for sure. We're trying to, there's so much interesting stuff out there, and the way the business is changing. What Louis C.K. just did was pretty amazing. Making his own movie.
Yeah.
And releasing it. And that's something that we're looking to do when we figure out how exactly to do it.
That dude's first to a lot.
He was on the internet early, selling a special years ago.
Selling a special for $5. That dude's early on a lot.
He was early on a lot because when you're that talented, I think you also are, part of that comes from just having the capacity, the mental capacity to take in a lot of information.
Yeah.
And I think when you're taking in a lot of information, you're utilizing a percentage of it, right?
Yeah.
So I think when he takes in all this info about like where things are going and what technology is allowing people to do, he's applying it to his life. And we're the beneficiaries of a lot of it because we see what he did. And, I saw that, what he did with the movie, and we're friendly with him now, and we were, fortunate enough to see like kind of the way he did it. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be where creatives are going. It's like full autonomy, figuring out how to make something and then distribute it.
Yeah, and you could also make things now for less money. So
that's right.
Whereas a big production would have costed you easy 6 figures, now you can kind of put something together, not that crazy.
He went high level and he spent real money. That being said, you don't have to. It depends on what you want to do. And you're right. It is, Ben, you always talk about people make things with phones.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of movies shot on iPhones now.
A lot
shot on iPhones.
And some of those movies that are shot on iPhone, some of them are on major streamers.
Oh, yeah. On Netflix. Tangerine was shot on iPhone, 2016 on Netflix.
I think a good idea today with the right people, man, that's all you really need.
That's right.
You need somebody. It's actually
and the generation
a crazy time for us in a good way.
Kids are growing up in this generation, which is like, it's so interesting. You wonder what their perspective on things is going to be growing up in a world where like a lot of the institutions that we grew up with are becoming irrelevant.
Yes, but there's a negative to that.
Yes.
And the negative to that is my kids and kids in my, are a little, it's spoiled in like a little, almost like, I don't want to say delusional. They know, but like me and Stacy have to tell Lucas and Sophia like what they, like we have like nice car, like, their feet are up on leather. And I'm going like, do you understand what my mother drove? I mean, my mother drove like a fucking, a jalopy fucking station wagon where, the shifter broke. It would start smoking.
Right.
My son said to me, he goes, Dad, I want you to take me fishing in Panama. Because he saw a fucking YouTube clip. He wants to go to Panama fishing. Not the Long Island Sound. He wants me to go to, and I go, why Panama? He goes, it's where the best fish in the world are. And it's like, well, that's fucking not reality. Because Dad's not going to Panama. Okay? If Dad gets that money, we'll go to Italy.
The amount of Jordans you would buy in Panama, you'd have a factory of children making Jordans.
I mean, my son just bought a fishing pole that's like top of the line, and he doesn't fish. He just saw a video.
Yeah.
So he's ordering things, and he got a private reel, and then he goes, "Can you take me? Can we go to Panama?" So I don't think
that is fucking funny.
He actually asked me that, and like Stacy was like, Stacy goes, "Daddy's not taking you to Panama," and he was like, "He will." And you know what? To be honest, I'll look into it, but that's a little not delusional, but it's kids don't understand that like. Like I remember going out to eat with my parents. It was like once a month or once every 2 months. Remember, you'd go and I don't know what the money your parents had, but like
we the thing is
we didn't have much.
We would eat out a lot, but it would never be like in my thing. It was a lot of like fast, grabby food, deli, kind of like. My parents worked a lot. It was kind of like but those nice dinners were few and far between.
What did your parents do?
My father was a wine salesman, so he was in New York City, and he would take the train in, and then like
commercial places.
You run around in restaurants with a wine bag. And my mother was a swim coach, and she taught private swim lessons and stuff. So she would start like early in the morning and work at a pool pretty much the whole day. And then like I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. I spent time with them too. But the book that's going to come out is just a total assault on their parenting and their lives. And they're in their early 70s, but I want to get it out while they're still here. It's so important. They were not abusive, but they were just boomers. And boomers, you know, a lot of them just like, it was just kind of like, it was not an involved parenting in the way that like people like you and Stacey are probably a lot more involved with your kids. Like my parents were not involved.
My parents had a brutal divorce when I was 5 and Christian, my older brother Christian was 10. Yeah. And it was like and like I never want to badmouth my parents because I feel like at their ages they did the best. But it's right. I think that era, like sometimes you don't even know it was never like, oh, we're gonna purposely fuck them up. Right. But it was just like a lot of shit went down.
My father, when I was like 8 years old, took me to see the movie Seven because he wanted to see it.
Yeah,
So that's the type of stuff.
That's
the type of shit.
Dude, my father was so pissed when he took us to Roger Rabbit because he wanted to see, and then he moved, and then it went to Goodfellas. I shouldn't. I shouldn't. I was young. Right. But yeah.
So this is like if he's like.
But so you're saying that's a boomer thing?
Yeah, it's a boomer thing. Well, because boomers, I think that one of the defining traits of their generation was that.
Or we have terrible fathers, and
it could be our. But I think one of the defining traits of their generation was that there was a little bit of, they were not. Their parents knew like real struggle and sacrifice. And the boomers had a version of that, but nowhere near. Like my father's life was nowhere near as hard as my grandfather's. And my mother's life was nowhere near as hard as her mother's life. So what they were able to do is focus a little bit more on themselves. Right. And part of the boomers thing was that, it was about them a little bit. Like my grandparents, it was not about them. They had 7 kids. Yeah. Nothing was about them. There's
a selfishness.
It was a selfishness.
There's a narcissistic selfishness in that thing where you're right. The grandparents didn't have it because the grandparents were just happy to get here and plant their flag here and make that money.
That's right.
But then their kids almost had that we're here. Yeah. What could I? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think part of it was like a lot of those people, to be honest, even though it was tough and they had it pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty good. If you look at the climate of how easy it was to get a house, to own a house, to own a car, to have these things, much easier than it was for the generation prior to them. And a lot easier than it is right now. For people right now, it's tough.
Are you doing that book? Like, is it a resentful thing, or is it just more of getting?
It's always funny, so it's not resentful. It's always meant to be funny, but it is, written in a way that is I think kind of an attack. A funny attack
on what happened, to goof on what happened in a way, but
my parents were, our food, the way boomers raised their kids, not all of them, but the specific boomers that I'm talking about, horrible food education, a lot of fast food, a lot of like garbage eating, a lot of like we reward ourselves with food, or my mother was always dieting, so food was either like, we're rewarding ourselves, we're being bad, or we're reining it in. Your mother's on her 9th diet, and now we're all eating this.
And whatever that is, you're eating.
That's right. So it was never, my grandparents were never on diets, but yet they also were never eating big ice cream sundaes. Right. So there was this real extremes that the boomers, because boomers were the most marketed to generation. My father loved commercials. He loved the Budweiser frogs. He loved the fat guy at Dunkin' Donuts. When the Budweiser did the Clydesdale commercial after 9/11, he started crying. Oh yeah. My dad they loved commercials. Yeah. So they would if any company out there from McDonald's to fucking whatever, if they had a good commercial, we were there the next day.
That was the fucking heyday of commercials.
Yes.
Remember Oscar Mayer?
Yeah.
That was the song. Yeah. And the cereals and shit.
Dude, when a fast food place would like advertise a new thing, my father would like, oh, let's get it. I'll get it. And like he'd be, and he was never like a big guy or whatever. He was not small, but he was never like really out of shape. But he was just like, yeah, I'll go get it. And like, you know, it was just one of those things where it's like when you look back and you go, you know, my parents, they were like, yeah, college, you should go to college. There was never like the you're going to take your kid to a tour of colleges. You're probably going to take Lucas to different schools and like show him which school and go, what do you think of this one? If you know, my parents, I mean, they were just like, yeah, go to college, I guess. Go to the community college.
Well,
like,
see, that's, I grew up with like, go or just, you know, go to a state school. And it was like, yeah, but that's...
It wasn't that they were bad people. They weren't abusive. They weren't like burning me with cigarettes. They were doing the best they can. My parents were hippies, kind of. Like my dad had a band. And my mom was, when she was younger, really pretty with long hair and just shell necklace and everything like that. And then they're thrown into the 80s. Reaganomics.
Only child.
They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, my dad's dad was a Irish guy who came to this country broke, was homeless, and died a multimillionaire. Because he started a general contracting business, but his family would move every time the rent was due. He was broke.
Oh, shit.
And he was tough. Like, he was a tough guy, like PAL boxer, was a pool hustler.
Wow.
Like, he was one of the coolest guys. Like, when my father told me all this stuff as my grandfather was dying, like, and I told my friend Ray, who's on the show all the time, I said, my grandfather never mentioned that he was like a pool hustler. My father's like, he was like a deeply moral guy. He was like ashamed of that. I'm like, it's the coolest thing I've ever heard, you know? But like he became a guy that was like, yeah, I don't want to. He worked so hard and was smart, ended up building a big house in Muttontown, Long Island, and, you know, worked his ass off. My grandmother's husband died when she was young. He had an amphetamine thing. He took pills. He had a heart thing. And she raised 2 kids on her own while being a teacher full time. They were really tough people, very religious, very Catholic, very involved in their communities, you know? And my parents were, you know, degenerate filth. So you have that dichotomy. No, I'm kidding. But no, they, you know, my parents they were, you know, my grandparents are, it's movies you can make about that. My parents, whom I love, created a comedian. They made me very funny because they, you know, I mean, we would do crazy things. They would do crazy things.
Yeah, it's funny how I wouldn't be a comic if what happened to my parents didn't happen.
That's right.
You know, I just, you know,
for sure.
I moved a lot. So when I moved, the way I adapted was, oh, Paul's funny, watch him tell this story. And I get friends, popular, move again. But I knew that I had that skill, and then that's what, and then the attention or being able to adapt like that was how I, you know, it's funny when you were saying like he was a hustler, but like didn't want to admit it. The Italian families, they would say that's how he did it. That's how he fucking did it. One day maybe you could hustle. In a fucking pool hall.
You could figure it out.
You could figure it out. Anything you could do. Yeah.
So the book is not, it's not like bitter. I'm happy with everything, you know. It's just looking back at how funny it all was and how crazy it all was, right?
Yeah.
Like how like unprepared they were to have a kid and how could they be prepared, right? I mean, it's just this crazy thing. And like, I was not a perfect kid either. And like, that whole thing I think is really funny.
You're documenting the chaos in a funny way in the best way with your skills to do it.
It's the chaos. You know what I mean? Like it's the chaos of a family. You know, they didn't love each other. Yeah. You know, they did in the beginning, but that wore off. And then what you had is like my father hung out at this local steakhouse with the owner of it, who was hilarious. And he would go out every Thursday night to this like men's club where all these guys would sit and complain about their wives. And my mother like would go to just kind of this local diner and bitch about him. Yeah. And he'd bitch about her. And it was kind of funny. And I'd go with one of them one night and the other one the other night. And it was supremely unhealthy. But funny, right? Like, but I looked back and I go, this is funny. But I'm like, also like, knowing what I know, I'm like, this is what a crazy thing. And just, you know, I mean, they got divorced for 2 years. They're divorced. They could not afford to get lawyers. So they had a mediator. They would come to the house. They had nothing. There was nothing to mediate. There was nothing to divide. They had nothing.
Right.
And they lived there for 2 years in separate bedrooms, spiting each other like the movie The War of the Roses. Not even kidding. And a mediator would like come and divide Beanie Babies because they had nothing. Like the mediator would sit at the table and go like, well, Patty's getting the lamp. And my dad goes, well, we didn't discuss that. Like, so that's how crazy and spiteful they were. Instead of just figuring out like, let's just make a clean break. It'll be good for the kid.
Wait, when did that happen? When?
7th grade.
Oh, okay. So, and that was, so it was bitter when it was brutal.
Oh, it was brutally bitter. And angry, but they had nothing. It's one thing when rich people do it.
You're getting the cars, you're getting the fucking mansion.
They had nothing.
Yeah, so they're fighting.
These people had nothing, and they would just fight about the nothing they had. They had spent their lives attaining nothing. And, you know, like, it was like, wait, what?
Who did you stay with?
I stayed with my mother for 2 years, then I went to my father. I wasn't even part of the fight. I don't think they cared who got me. They were more concerned about, like, lamps and end tables.
Yeah.
I don't think they cared. Like, my mother, I think, fought for me a little, and my dad goes, great. And then 2 years later, she goes, no, you take them. You raise them.
I've been putting my foot on that ottoman for
you know, it was crazy. So, like, it was interesting.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a very boomer way to grow up. But, you know, I'm excited about hopefully putting that all together and having that be funny and then having people go, oh, I actually can relate to that.
It's impossible for that not to be funny.
Yeah, I went to a Pizza Hut lunch buffet. I understand. You know, I went through some of these things. I get it too. And that's the type of, and just growing up in the suburbs in that era, smoking pot, fucking trying to dodge your mother's car. Like, you know, we had, it was a green, my friend Shay's mother had a green Ford Taurus. And
I remember that car perfectly. I see it right now. I see the headlights.
A green Ford Taurus, right? And she loved it. And the only other guy in the town that had a green Ford Taurus was the Chinese delivery guy.
Right.
And we were high all the time when we were like 15 years old.
Oh my God.
And we'd see the green Ford Taurus.
Lose your shit.
And we're like, dude, we're praying. And then we just see him go by and we're like, thank God, it's the Chinese guy, you know? We're like, and like, he'd be like, is that the fucking Chinese guy? I'm like, it's the Chinese guy. And we're like, okay. So it's like the weird things like that, you know, are just kind of stupid and funny.
Oh, dude. Well, I remember one time this Italian kid goes, yeah, dude, we had nothing to do.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, dude, let's go down by the highway and throw rocks at cars. Dude.
Yeah.
And like we would fucking,
people would,
like pelt fucking,
yeah.
Like it was the most ridiculous.
It's insane.
It was insane.
It's
like
insane,
throwing, like as cars are going 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And I remember one time this Cadillac came back. This Cadillac of Italian guys came back and we had to just jump in this prickers in the middle of the night, down low.
Yeah.
And the kid's like, we're going to fuck you, whoever. You know, the guy's walking around with something in his hand and stuff. And we're just laying in the prickers. I could have killed him.
Yeah.
Could have fucking, it's like the dumbest.
Yeah.
You know, but was it a simpler, like, because I look at like when I watch Stranger Things. Do you watch that ever or no?
Yeah, I watched the first season. First 2 seasons, I think.
That whole like kind of, I don't know, Dungeons and Dragons, riding your bike.
Completely different.
It was
completely different. This has changed everything. Like there is absolutely no, it's almost incomparable.
Yeah.
You know, growing up without this and growing up with it.
It's such a different time. It's almost like a car and not a car.
Yes.
Like, it's almost like that difference.
It's even worse because not worse or better, but like you basically you have this thing that allows you we used to get lost. We used to not know what was going on. We had imaginations. You had to be, the bonds you would create with people would be perhaps a little deeper. Everything now is very transactional, very immediate. And I think people's brains are just trained to work in a different way.
That whole fucking
YouTube.com Tim Dillon Show. I just have to.
That whole like go in a treehouse with your best friends and sit down in Indian style and just talk about
now
shit.
Now they just do fentanyl and plan school shootings. I mean, that's
now when they sit in the thing,
if your kid is in a treehouse right now, run. Like you have to call someone. If your kid's in a treehouse now, you have to call someone. You have to call a hostage negotiator.
To get four of them have been up there for 3 hours.
What are they planning?
No,
they're on the dark web ordering bullets. PaulVirzi.com. All your live dates are up there. Watch your special on Netflix, Nocturnal Admissions.
Yeah, check out the Virzi Effect. And I also do another one that I co-host with Bill Burr called Anything Better. And all new dates are coming. We're getting a whole new tour, but go to paulvirzi.com, man. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you, Paul. Thanks for coming out.
I had a
appreciate
blast.
it.
Thank you, brother.